Hey, Shalom. It's Falling Yeshua. Welcome again to the Rock. Well, that's the question, and I want to answer it because it was actually a very good question. Falling Yeshua, what does homesteading have to do with family? And that's a very good question. First, I wanted to say, if you're um, if you're a homesteader and you have anything to add to this, please don't be afraid to put it in the comment section of this video. Well, I can only express what it is for myself, and this is not going to be in its totality. I'm just going to give some small points here and there. For me, homesteading is very important. Not just the idea of self-sufficiency, moving towards that direction, growing my food, because that to me is important. Most of today's food that you find in stores is poisoned. It is poison. They put so much stuff in the ground, and you have no idea what you're feeding your family. Look at the back of a box of whatever it is your favorite food is, and look at the ingredients. When you look at even your fresh fruits and vegetables, they put wax on apples to make them look prettier. There's studies that have been done what that does to your body, yada, yada, yada. Insecticides and things they put in the soil that that do cause harm to the human body. And then you go and buy organic, and you think that it's organic, but most of these organic farms, I knew somebody in California, an old friend from high school, who was an organic onion farmer. Well, he was an onion farmer, and the space between organic and inorganic in his farm was negligible, like the literal physical space. So when he sprayed, if he needed to, his organic onions got sprayed just as long as his inorganic. Maybe not as heavy, but there were still, residue sprays leaching into the water, into the underground, things like that. So there's a poison aspect. It's a better environment for my children. It's a much better environment for my children. They get to learn how to do these things. It's brought us closer together as a family. But one very, very important part I want to talk about is your family as far as you, as a man. Homesteading requires you to have a vision. It requires you not to just have a vision, but to be able to articulate it and to do it. In today's society, there are many men that will say things like, "Well, I have a vision," but then you look at and you don't see that progress. You don't see that movement in their life. Well, to homestead, you have to have that movement. Otherwise, you and your homestead and your family will likely fail. You'll find yourself right back in the city. I can't tell you. I can't remember this statistic. I'm gonna give a rough estimate, but I think it was something like 75 to 80% of homesteaders, maybe more, fail within the first 5 years. And a lot of times, it's not financial. It's not financial. They don't know how much work there is that has to be put in. A lot of times, for brothers, it's your wife is really not on board with you. She's really not on board with you making that move. So this whole time you thought she was submitted to you. You thought that she was about your vision. And she may even see he doesn't have a vision. So the whole time you thought you had somebody on board with you, and you find out she didn't. I know personal stories of brothers that lost their homesteads, or their wife didn't want a homestead and threatened to leave them if they ever did, move out and try to do this thing. And so they were in jeopardy of losing their family. In jeopardy of losing their family because they're trying to pursue the vision the Most High gave. So that vision has to be clear to you as a man, and you have to be able to actively do it. And that's the hard part. Most people they may say they have a vision, but they have no plan on how to get that vision done. They have no plan on how to get from point A to point B, then point B to point C, then point C to actually doing it. Coming out here, it really showed me, Sister Tanisha, that she was for me. She was really for the vision. She believed in the vision. She believed, because women will say things like, "Well, I'm submitted to you." And then you find out she's really not. Because you give that vision and she's not about it. When we first came out here in the travel trailer that Pastor Fox gave us. Bless you, Pastor Fox, and Shovar Mountain. Um, Having somebody leave the amenities and the comforts and the conveniences of the city to coming out here and starting over, you get to really find out what is in your wife, what is in you as a man. You get to actually see, people say, I have a vision, and you don't, nor do they, nor do no, your wife never gets to see you enact that vision that you have for you and your family. And therefore, it's hard to say she trusts in you. It's actually hard to say she trusts in you because that thing's never been tested. And then obviously Sister Ebony and then Sister Taylor. It reminds me of the story of the laborers. They all came at different times during the day and the reward was all the same, 1 pence. But I digress. You really get to see your family in action. You really get to see how you're able to manage things. Are you able to manage these things? Obviously, when homesteading, you have the opportunity to grow. I mean, you see what's all behind me. I have the opportunity to grow my family to whatever lengths I want to. Obviously, when you're living in a city, it's a lot harder to grow your family. You're always worried about, can I afford more food? Well, if I need a bigger place, I just add on to it. I just add more rooms to the home. If I need more food, I just put in more gardens. So the only thing, I really look at how things were in biblical times, and there was no limit to when Yah said be fruitful and multiply, there was no limit to how big a man could expand his household. In today's modern Western society, there is a limit, and society, I believe, has intentionally done that. They have intentionally limited men in how big you can grow your family because they make it so damn expensive in these reservations. $2,000 for a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment? How many are going to be able to afford that? And be able to maintain a household with 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15 children and 3 or 4 wives? How many are going to be able to maintain that on an apartment? And even if you bought a house in the city, you're now talking about exponential costs for you to live there. Buying food for 20 people in a household, especially if you're talking about buying organic, that's a pretty hefty bill. I know brothers that were, him, his wife, and 2 children that were spending damn near $1,500 a month on buying organic, on buying good, healthy, wholesome food, meats, clean meats. So there is a level of, I would say, limiting your ability. My daughter right now is gathering one of our, gathering our 60 eggs or 40 to 60 eggs that we're producing right now here on the rock a day. 40 to 60 eggs, clean water, food that's popping up out of the soil, garlic that's growing, our walking onions have literally walked across our property. Just good, clean water and food. So this is just brief, but having those management skills for your family, having a vision that you can articulate, and then you go and do it, and it allows them to see. It is important to you. I know a lot of brothers, you talk about wanting to grow your family, wanting to expand your family, and I know a lot of people aren't going to be, well, I don't want to, a lot of sisters, and I know a lot of you brothers you're postponing your vision under the hopes of adding to your house. I think that's one of the most foolish things that you can do. Well, I don't know if anybody's gonna want to move out there and and they like the city. Okay, cool. That doesn't stop my vision. If nobody my vision is the vision that the Father gave me, and I'm moving in it. And if somebody wants to join because they see the vision, they say, you know what, I can submit to that. I will submit to that man and that vision that the Father gave him. Man. But instead, you're trying to add to your household in the city, and then you want to try and drag them all out here. And you know that these people do not want to, these sisters, these women do not want to leave that city. You're actively sabotaging the visions the Father gave you. Actively. So in homesteading and in family, there's many more. I might have to do a part 2 or part 3. And again, if you, for those of you who are homesteading, please put in the comment section. And I may end up doing a video about what your comment is. But I think I believe it's vitally important for the family. Vitally important for the family to come out of these systems. Because it's hard to hear the voice, the still small voice, when you're in a loud environment where there are constant pressures on you as a man, on you as a sister, that continually take your attention away. You're running and gunning so much that you don't even have time to raise your children, to homeschool your children, to teach your children those things that are important. And you find out your children are 3 or 4 grade levels, ahead of children in school. You find out that most children in school can't write cursive. They don't know how to sign their name in cursive. And you've got children that are kindergartners that can write their name in cursive. First graders that can write their name in cursive. You're talking about, second graders that can write their name in cursive. You're talking about grown, damn near grown 16, 17-year-old children, sophomores, juniors, and seniors in high school who can't write their name in cursive, who don't know how to do basic algebra. Yet you got your 5th grader doing algebra. So the growth, from what I've seen, the growth of raising and teaching your own children, homesteading, they know how to grow food. I've seen, notice in today's westernized schools, they take out all the creative things of school. Home ec, art, auto mechanics, ceramics, plastics, industrial technology, all those, metalworking, all those things in class, FFA. I took all those. I took FFA 1 and 2 in high school. I loved it. Now it's, let's just regurgitate. You know how much of a blessing it is to be able to teach your children Yah's ways, the Bible, and to teach them math and all those things and apply it to the word of Yah, apply it to their daily life. Hey, we're teaching you geometry right now. Now let's go out there and work on some walls and show you the angles. Do you see how important that is? Hey, you're working on multiplication right now. Now let's go out there and deal with some garlic. We're gonna take 5 garlic cloves and we're gonna break them apart. And each one of those 5 garlic bowls has 5 or 6 cloves in it. So how many cloves is that? How many more garlic are you gonna be able to produce from this? You see how beautiful that is? Anyways, I don't want to make this video too long. I'm gonna do this part 1, family and homesteading part 1. Just some of the beauties and some of the things that you really, why I believe, my personal opinion, homesteading is so valuable to the family and to the family construct. And why it is, I believe, that society continually takes us away and puts us on reservations where they can control us and they can monitor us and they can take the mom and the father out of the home and they can make y'all enslaved and they can limit the size of your family because you're literally limited by your finances. Literally. And you're dropping $2,000 a month just to live in a 800, 400, 600 square foot apartment. When $2,000 a month goes a long way out here to building your home, to adding to your home, to adding to the things that you're doing, to your gardens, to your fields. And that's just the rent. That doesn't include the utilities and all the other things. You're talking about $3,000 to $4,000 a month. That goes a long way on a homestead. A long way. Anyways, bless y'all. I'm in this video. Have a blessed day. Or the second day. I'm going to continue the build of this laundry room for the sisters. And work on some more gardens. Bless y'all. Shalom.